Hello, we're doing Chapter 5, Section 3, Solving Quadratic Equations by Graphing and Factoring. I'm doing the guided practice problems from page 338, which is the PDF page 29. And we're going to do problems 2, 3, and 4, where we find the zeros by graphing. And I know it says also by a table. That's okay. All right, now, you know how to graph quadratic functions. You can, and this is where it gets a little like, okay, I don't really know what they're trying to do. You can make a table, right? So you can set it up to where you can say x equals, I don't know, -3. Start with -3. Do -3 squared plus 4 times -3, subtract 5. Work that all out. And actually, I'll show you how to do it with a graphing calculator. Okay. You can do it like this. So I hit y equals, and I'm going to put this in here. So I do x to the second power plus 4x subtract 5. Now if I graph that button right there says graph. If I graph it, that's what I get. Now, there is a way using the TI-84, and I use Desmos a lot because we want to actually show the ideas. Let me move the light so you can see it a little bit better. I use Desmos a lot because I'm really teaching the ideas. I'm not teaching the technology. Desmos is more direct with it. If this was my iPad, I'd just tap right there and figure out where they were. There is a way to figure out where these intersections are, and I'm going to let your math studies, which is no longer called math studies, teachers do that, because when you take those classes, you get to use the TI-84 on the IB test. There's a way of doing it. You just basically get in here where it says calculate, do a calculation, and then right there where it says intersection, and you can go through all the steps. Okay? But in my class, most of the time we use Desmos. I just don't have an extra iPad so I can like show it to you. You can also do this with this calculator. You can actually see the table. So here's all my x values, and it calculates out all of my y values. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I can go up and down through the table. So here's one of my zeros, -5. And if I go to the next one, there it is. There's my other zero, which is 1. So if I look at the graph, looks like it's x equals -5 and x equals 1, and that's backed up from the table. So x equals -5, x equals +1. And again, I'm using the TI-84 as just a way of showing how to do it with this. Be a little bit easier with Desmos. Let's try it with this one. I'm going to go back to y equals, and I'll clear that out. I'll do negative, which is that button. This is one of the things, why this, I don't know. But negative x to the second power plus 6 times x subtract 8. All right, let's graph it. So it crosses about here and about here, and there is a way to do it with the intersection. Since you're probably going to use Desmos anyway, you would just tap on it. Let's look at it on the table, second table. And looks like one of the zeros is 2, and the other zero is 4. So x equals 2, and x equals 4. Finally, clear x to the second power, subtract 1. I would like to draw your attention to the fact that this is a difference of 2 squares. Think about that, but we're going to follow what the directions say. So I'm going to graph it. So it looks like it crosses about right here and about right here. Let's look at the table. There's my 0, and there's my other 0. The zeros are +1 and -1. So x equals -1, x equals +1. Now, I'm going to take this opportunity because you're probably thinking to yourself, why do I have to learn everything else if graphing it is so easy? Why can't I just do it using Desmos, or even with this outdated TI-84. It's not one of these examples, but I'm going to show you this. And I'm just going to kind of plant a seed here. What if I had x to the second power plus 3? All right, I'll even do, let's just back up a little bit, plus 4. What does that mean? Well, let's graph it. What happened? Here's my x-axis. That's where my graph is going to, for a lack of a better way of saying it, give me a 0. That the equation of the x-axis is y equals 0. I know, the equation of the x-axis is y equals 0. Where the graph equals 0 is where it touches or intersects the x-axis. See the problem with this one? It doesn't intersect the x-axis. It's too high. It needs to come down a little bit lower. So the methods we're going to be learning that are more algebraic work because the graphing doesn't work in this method. All right? So we'll see you in the next video.